Hey, if you can see the option to add, I think I just put it in. I'm trying to see if someone can join me. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Does anybody see the symbol at the bottom of the screen that says add or to join image? Hey, Mom. Hey, Carla. Let's see. Uh, can any of you see the image that anybody that says to join into the broadcast? I'm trying to figure out if I should do it from my mobile or from my computer. One shows it and one doesn't show it. Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, Debbie. Uh, I'm trying to bring people into the broadcast so I don't have to use Skype and then, then everything be like post production so I can have the live news stuff. It's hard for them to shut down what you're saying when you're saying it right then. But can anybody see the little box at the bottom of the screen that says join click to join in? Uh Will somebody just try to click it? I'm just gonna see if I can get somebody to come into the broadcast. Last time I did, Cheyenne can see it. I'm just trying to see if I can add someone in, if that's automatically on there the way I have it set up now for the broadcast later. Somebody just try to join just for a second. It looks like I just added Rebecca. Let's see, I'll try it again. Yeah, you see what the water in Bossier did to my head? I've been talking to Erin Brockovich. Hey, there she. Let me do it from my computer. Can you hear me all right? Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, I don't know why, but on my. Let's see, hang on. Here comes Cheyenne. See if I can add multiple people too. That's the thing I like about live broadcasts. You can tell what you need to tell. Like, there's some amazing stuff here from. Hey, Cheyenne. There she is. Everybody should be able to hear. But just like that picture I put on the post saying that this was about to come on, they've been trying to prove other dimensions and things, and one of them happened in Livingston, Louisiana here. And in the 80s and 90s, you always heard about the hole in the ozone layer, but David Sereda and a bunch of other people brought up pictures, and we have pictures of it. I put one of them up of those little balls appearing of ice right above the ozone layer, and then they melt and they filled up the hole. So it doesn't take any engineering on our part. But yeah, now we're doing. I'm gonna do the live news because then that can't be interrupted, and they would have to be watching at the time. And then we've got JB. It's not always me. It's Joshua Britton, JB Photography Art, and so and now with Odin and a few people, we've got a larger network we're going to be broadcasting to. So it'll be live on YouTube, and then after the broadcast is over, the cool looking intro Omar made and all the little stuff will be added to it. But this way we can get the things out there unedited, and if they want to ban me afterwards, they can do it. But all that does is vet what I'm saying, because they don't go on and the people who are telling fairy tales and things that just don't make any sense or that aren't hitting on target, they don't cut those broadcasts. But when you see Kathleen's on, I always share her over. I'm trying to make a network of you guys and these broadcasts. And, Brad Olson was the number one on social media, and he was my last interview on the Conversations show. Last time I couldn't bring Gunner in, so I just did a little short news broadcast. But it seems to be what everybody wants. I've done the archaeology stuff, but people are wanting to know, like when they see Kathleen's drives and things like that, my inbox fills up with scientific questions, and it's the same thing in Washington, it's the same thing on the news. There's nothing about anyone in Washington, D.C. that gives them the authority, but it doesn't give them the knowledge needed to fund or to not fund certain scientific research. So right now, just anything that is labeled as defense, they can do crazy stuff. But why are you worried about the CO2 tax that people want to add on when this is the lowest the CO2's been in 34 million years at least? And so, and definitely between 10 and 34 million years, it was 10 to 20 times higher. But they want to add taxes. Hey, Mom. Kathy's my mom. Yeah, they like to do things like that. And just because you can do certain things, we can't give free energy. I was talking to Billy Carson a minute ago on text, and if you even make a solar cell 60% more effective, they'll take it. And they'll patent it themselves and not allow you to ever use it. But now time has gone along to where more of us, I guess us common people, have learned how to do things like kinetic wave energy. I can go out to my local lake here and provide energy for the entire city, but those things aren't wanted. We got to stay with petroleum. But people forget all plastic, styrofoam, all of everything around you. They find a way with your TVs, makeup, everything else to find a way to put petroleum into it. But that's literally fossilized technology. And even nuclear is a future extinction level event, because you have a 1930s technology, 1940, using plutonium and uranium to boil water. Most people don't know it, but this is a fact people need to know. All nuclear facilities that produce electricity are steam technology, 1830s technology. They're using uranium-235 to boil water. It's only 5% more efficient than coal or burning wood to boil the water, to turn the steam turbine. But now we can use magnets. Look up a Searle engine. They just won't let that happen. But We could have done the free energy technology a long time ago. Oh, cool. Thank you for the screenshot, Marsha. I was just trying to figure it out. What's up, Josh? There's our awesome photographer. And yeah, now we're gonna put get it looking better and right. But it seems that people want to know about the news thing more than anything, and what the truth is behind the stories, and everything you hear is collusion and all this stuff. And right now, we can't swim in any of the bayous or lakes or rivers or anything. Even driving down I-49, you can smell sewage from the Red River that they're leaking from the big city into the small city. I call it DARPA Town, Halton, Louisiana. And it's just bad. And they don't tell you that they're doing a chloride burn, because the Aaron Brockovich story, and that's the only point that anybody ever remembers, is that Aaron Brockovich talked about Bossier. You do not want Aaron Brockovich talking about where you live. If she is, then you are in danger. You're like, you've got cancer, or you will, or worse. But I've had just our water basically liquefy my insides, and knowing chemistry, I know that it's chloride. And before, it was sulfur from the Trinidad oil rig that was just, people think dumping, they think a 55-gallon barrel being dumped by a couple guys who are looking around, and they got a truck back down to the bayou. They have a 3-foot wide pipe. It's about 20 feet long that comes out of the rig. You guys have seen that picture of me with black all over my face. And that was one day working there. No, not even that, about a half a day. And I saw 2 boys about to jump in the bayou just outside the fence, about 75, 100 yards away. And I was like, I'm not going to let them swim in this. It's petroleum detergent. They pH balance it to 7. And that's what they wanted the chemist to do. Because if it's pH balanced to 7, then any regular person like us, any researcher can go dip, or the EPA can go dip a piece of litmus paper in the creek or in your drinking water, and it'll come up to 7. And so they just pH balance the poisons when they put them in there. Then there's a story of a brain-eating amoeba that I posted on there. And they said, don't take a bath, it's not safe, take a shower. And if you see a worm, don't touch it because it's poisonous, pick it up with something else and dispose of it. But by definition of my 7th grade life science teacher, an amoeba is a single-celled organism, so by definition it's microscopic and you would never be able to see it. And no one ever picked up on that. I think the only person that laughed at it was Dr. Kennebrew, and a friend of mine here. And they, hey dude, it's my mom. And but these are the things that we've got to get out there. It's just simple truths, but as you can see, it'll affect your daily life. But when I got out of the shower and I had a sunburn, and then the person behind me did, it didn't come out until the next day in the newspaper that Sligo Pump Water Station has decided to do a chloride burn to clean out the brain-eating amoeba, or change it to fungus that day. They like to mix you up in the definitions of things, and you have no way to research it. But now we've got everything from the big city dumping into the small city. But if you know the area, Shreveport, Bossier, it's like twin cities, like Minneapolis and St. Paul. When you cross the bridge from Shreveport, you're in Bossier. Well, then there's Halton, and then there's nothing but land all the way to the next city, which is like Minden, and it's pretty much all land. But what do? Nobody understands why DARPA, General Dynamics, being in the same parking lot as Bossier Parish Community College, is 5,000 students or so right there, is not right. But you guys see me do LiDAR and using gamma waves and muon particles and all those. The whole point of them is they go through everything. They don't stop at the walls of DARPA. They go right through every person around in the area, and right in between is U.S. Cyber Command. And I'm like, that is the most even PC, politically incorrect way and humane place to put the thing. It's the last place you want to put it, next to the second largest population center at any given time, at any given weekday. LSU Shreveport and Bossier Parish Community College. So you're going to put it next to all the kids in the same parking lot instead of on the base or out in the middle of the woods somewhere by the oil rig or something like that. But now they even said that our water is not safe to swim in here. And so, like I wrote the other day, Louisiana is the canary in the coal mine from Katrina, weather manipulation, things like that, the oddities and the things. Everybody here can tell you the sky doesn't look the same as it used to. I worked at the airport for over a decade, and my office was center field, and I could look straight down the runway, and on the other side of the river is Barksdale Air Force Base's runway, and all day long you saw KC-10s, A-10s, C-135 Hercules, these huge planes, B-52s taking off all the time, and now you don't see planes anymore. You just don't. Like the other, about a week ago, I think I posted a Raptor and what I call a Nightmare, and this other type of plane, I think it was a Lightning, which I've never seen here before. This is the second bombing wing, appeared out of nowhere. And I'm talking about what they call G class airspace, which is below 500 feet. You don't have to call into a tower. That's where like ultralights and drones and things, people's drones and things like that fly, remote control airplanes or planes without radios can stay down there. And, you know, that's where you can go land out in the field, things like that. But these things blasted over a place called the Bellagio, if you know Shreveport and Bossier, which is like the super mega rich people apartments with, like, you know, it's got a subway in there and everything you need is right inside there. And that's right next to DARPA. But it used to say CRVA or something outside. And I wondered, what's this building that they put right next to the school? No one ever even questions it. And that's why I tell people, like Kathleen Fitzgerald said it perfectly, kill your TV, because it'll get you paying attention to the wrong things. But I went and looked up the CRVA or whatever, and it turned out to be General Dynamics. And then I looked that they had just got the funding from DARPA to build the building, so the Advanced Defense Research Project is only 500 feet away from your children. And I've worked in labs before. If you're on the I-20 side of it driving by the back, you see these big looks like your air conditioning fan thing outside, but it's bigger. But there's a false wall there that's green and it has holes in it, and you can see these huge fans, which look like air conditioning units, which are usually made to evacuate the air out of a room. Say you get VX sarin gas, which they let off in Syria and all these other places, but it's made in the United States, which is very strange to me, that the chemical warfare that keeps breaking out in different places are things made in the United States. Like 4 of the 5 Ebola strains are manufactured in the United States. Only 1 is the African strain. And those are just like huge facts that I've never heard anyone talk about on news and everything else. Every day you turn it on and we're like 90% of the 75% of the way, 80% of the way through Trump's first term or only term or whatever, his first 4 years, and it's almost over and they're still talking about that. But they leave out, they put shootings and all these other things in there, and it's just a scripted program. Like that video I put up that creeps me out. It reminds me like something from like the Twilight Zone, where you have 72 people or different news channels and 3 people at each one, and they're all quoting word for word, even using the same cadence. And at the end it says, they all say at the same time, and this could be a threat to a real threat to our democracy. And I was like, I was about to run out, go hide underneath the covers. That's some freaky stuff. But, there's things that they're not telling us. And, knowledge is the way to do it. And, that's why I like seeing Kathleen's feed. I always get out there and share it wherever I can so people can see. She's driving around and noticing things that aren't the same as what they usually are. And that's the things we need to look out for and notice. And like the post that just went up a minute ago that Trent put up I think I shared a memory, but it was a ring in the sky, and I was on ground zero. I called in, and I had 3 or 4 people with me. It was like 9 o'clock at night, completely dark, and right above DARPA and above Halton, that ring right there, a ring opened up in the sky, and it was gold, and it lit everything up like it was daytime. And that's that video that I just posted on the post just below this, and I'll post the picture. But it was totally nighttime, no clouds out, starry night. The thing opened. It was like daytime, but everything was gold colored. And then it seemed like just a couple minutes and the ring closed and the sky was completely clear. And then once it got dark, we all looked around, and there's like cars are all stopped in the middle of the road, everybody out of their cars, and the people out of their stores. I was already outside waiting on somebody I had taken up to just the little corner store. And so I was just standing outside and watched it, but I didn't realize that there were, until afterwards. I guess everybody came outside. It was that noticeable. And when the ring closed up, I remember the look on the guy's face at the Fred's Pharmacy. He turned around and looked at me with his eyes real big, like mumbling, like, what was that? What? Well, he turned around. First thing he says, "What am I doing out here?" It was the first thing he said. And so I've been on ground zero before, and so I sent Ron Patton at KXL in Portland and Clyde Lewis a message about it, and got on there in just a few minutes. And we can get the knowledge out there and get the things out there if we want to. But now we're in 100 countries, and we've only got like 2,500, 2,700 members. But I started off with a core of the scientists all the way to the media people, because by myself, I found myself under attack in more ways than one. Just everything from my video drivers on my computer being attacked, so my computer's still on, but it turns into a black screen, which kind of ruins it if you don't know how to fix it. But luckily, the company that I don't work for all the time, I'm still the president of Ion Technologies, but I'm just trying to make it right now. And now I've moved away from DARPA Town for a little while and get this all set up, and taking the path less traveled. But it is I don't know, it's like the Bushido thing. The code of honor is not hard to live by if it's your natural state of being, and the only way we can change is by changing things, not just chanting it in a mob. And we can definitely change the entire world if everyone starts with themselves and see what you're paying attention to, and don't be distracted. And things like Monsanto Bear, people were so upset after the Trump election, they didn't pay attention that all of the bonesmen and even Obama and everybody's in Antarctica, and they're not paying attention to all of these things like Monsanto, who owns all the opiate crisis in the world that they gave all of us in the 80s and 90s, and they caused the opiate crisis, and they're over there guarding their opium fields in Afghanistan, is what the truth is, and destroying the other ones. But you have Monsanto that has the Roundup weed killer that owns Bayer, so they give you cancer and then they sell you the cure for it. That's what you call racketeering, and they arrest us for it and they call that a mafia or organized crime. And that's why I call them the DC mob. But if one of you guys want to be on later, I mean, we've got JB. Go check out JB Photography. JB is not me. When you see that, that's why I put JB. You know, but between all of us, we've got access. We've got members in 120 different countries. We're like the middle of the wheel, and all these different people that are authors and archaeologists and different things and Skywatch groups. Everybody's like a spoke in the wheel, and we have like really made more discoveries than have come out of the university system this year. I mean, we really have. We found, I mean, huge. You guys have seen the huge cavern system underneath Chichen Itza. They're looking at the scan the same time as it comes in as I am. I'm waiting on it too. But you hear about it from me, and you don't hear about it from them. And the truth is, just like everything else, the pyramid is about this big in that scan compared to that cavern that has stairs 2,100 feet deep, and things that I have that some radio shows talked about for 5 years want to see inside Point Dume, Malibu, the deep underwater UFO base. And now I have images inside, and people don't want to get near them. You know, I did a show on Beyond the Strange just to get them out there and get them seen without them, some of them being copied. I showed them at the Mars conference, which actually brought some. Once you've been in a conference for 3 days, you notice everyone there because you've been with everyone there for 3 days. So if a stranger walks in, you know it. But kind of like being the only guy in the movie theater, I was the last speaker, and some big guy comes and sits right next to me, and I could see I turned my screen dark, and so I could see him, and he's watching my screen the entire time, because I have another computer that never goes on the internet, so nobody can ever delete those files or get onto that computer. An old Windows 7 computer, so I've got my two computers hooked up together making my slideshow, because I like wrote it during, while it was going on. I didn't know till the day before I was actually going. But we've got an army together, a network of networks, and just to share to one group that you're in, some people are in 65 groups, some people are in 125 groups. But just to share to your page, they're in groups, or the extended network. Literally, I can see the amount of viewers from my video, if you know how to, and they just 20 to 40 shares, millions of people can see it. So if everybody just shares over to one group, on one of those topics we're talking about or anything, and if there's a certain topic you want to know about, or you want to know the science behind it, well, I'm very accessible. Just message me, and I'll be sure to, if I haven't looked at it, or if I've talked about it before, I'll be sure to reinsert it in there. Because this isn't my news feed, this is our news feed, and we are society, and that's the whole thing that the government forgets. They aren't. Hey, Lori, got Lori Burkholder, we got David watching, and we got everybody. Benita, Beautiful Cortez, JoJo, what's up, Bubba? We got Joey Melton, Tiffany, Kathy Nato, hey mom, we're gonna go catch some Mexican food soon. Matt James up in Minnesota, Rebecca Ryan, the New Orleans toxic algae. See, that's also the same family. Monsanto Bayer is owned by the Windsors, the royal family of England. Actually, the Saxon von Gottbergs. So it was kind of Germany against Germany in World War I and II. And they own Monsanto Bayer. So during the biggest power move in our history, which was Monsanto Bayer buying, they bought the other half of the corporations in the world. It's it's total control. Now, in the U.S., we're their police. 954 known bases in 154 countries. That's called world domination. They'd never let anybody do that. If China or somebody tried that, there's no way they'd do it. But just like John McCain said, I'm afraid we've got a president that's not going to go along with the New World Order we've peacefully had in place for the last 70 years. And I don't remember a time of peace any time in the last 40 years. But yeah, we got Debbie Vizquero, Rebecca Ryan, Mandy Thomas. What's up, everybody? Mac, Cole, Carla. I know you don't like me pointing you out. Carla Frederick. She's in New Mexico, in Silver City, which is like heaven. That's what I think of. Jennifer Gunter. What's up? She's one of our new members. And Cheyenne Shepherd. She's in Silver City. And Joshua Britton, JB. Corinne Campbell. We got lots of people on. And hey, we got Steven Schenkel in here. And Rachel. Hey, what's up, guys? We're just high school with them, longtime friends. But I will see you guys on the broadcast later, and message me anything you want to. And I guess I'm doing it from my mobile, so if you want to join in, you can just hit that button and it shows up on my side and I can just add you. But remember, we can change the whole world if we start with ourselves, and we are society. And I don't see anybody, I'm not trying to start a war with Dr. Valery Uvarov. He's an archaeologist, and most of the people we talk to, we got Gunnar and Tanya from the Tago Experience Research Team in Austria. And I think I talk to them more than I talk to people in Louisiana. We're definitely global. But I love you guys, and I'll see you later.